Okay. Isha? Okay. Divya Keswani says Chacha Chaudhary.
Chacha Chaudhary, yes. I'm so
Yes.
happy to like
Preet,
थोड़ा
Preet,
generation gap आ गया है, but
yes, Preeti Sharma says humans. But that's okay, I guess.
definitely, of course. हाँ, humans ने computer बनाया, of course. But point मेरा ये था to tell you about कि where my journey started. Art का मेरा journey started from Chacha Chaudhary, from Sabu, from Pinky, Pillu. These all were comic characters by Diamond Comic Publication, created by Pran. उसके अलावा राज कॉमिक्स, देयर वर अदर कॉमिक किड मैगजीन, नन्हे सम्राट, चंपक, these kind of comics. So वहाँ से it all got started. I don't know if you guys have done those connecting the dots को connect करके एक complete picture बनता है. There are some दो pictures रहते हैं इसमें, you have to find differences, all these little bit of art exercises which we used to get in those art magazines. वहाँ से it all got started. मेरा journey art का वहाँ से start हुआ. When I was kid, I was totally in love with comics. Comics बहुत पढ़ता था मैं, और एक like fantasy world था मेरा जिसमें which was inspired by all these characters. Like I wanted to be strong as Sabu. Sabu was a character who's coming from Jupiter, एक alien who looks like human but giant है. दिमाग अगर तेज का लाइक दिमाग अगर चाहिए मेरे को, चाचा चौधरी जैसा मेरे को दिमाग चाहिए. सो लाइक अलग ही इमेजिनेशन एक इनिशियल स्टेज पे लाइक वहां से बिल्डअप होना चालू हो गया था. एंड आई यूज्ड टू गेट लाइक वेरी इंस्पायर्ड, एंड व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू डू इज I used to draw those. I used to draw comic characters on my. I never had any kind of sketchbook at that time. What I used to do is classroom में class notebooks के पीछे I used to draw all those characters. Comic characters के अलावा water bottles हो गया, pencil box हो गया. So they were anime characters, Naruto. I used to draw this. Used to draw them a lot. So वहाँ से unintentionally, because I never had any kind of guidance. Uh, I always got appreciation from everyone during my school days, but somewhere I felt कि I have never got encouragement. Uh, Parents ने भी support किया, सबने clap किया, ताली बजाई, but nobody told me कि okay, you can actually have a career, you can actually become an artist who can pay his bills from his art. So somewhere I always thought, okay, it's like my hobby. Art for me, it came out very naturally. I didn't have to like put much effort to it to make it stand out. जो भी characters I used to draw, whatever characters I used to draw, proportion wise I felt कि okay, it turned out nice. So never I felt कि like this is my thing. And like when you're in school, when you're college, what you're looking for to like stand out, to make your own identity. Like art was there with me, but the problem was ki art wasn't making me like cool like in school. College में भी art, okay, हाँ, he has interest. There's like some groups. I was in engineering college, so like obvious reasons say you have to be like more focused towards studies. uh, Plus जो cool factor जो रहता है, that was mostly with somebody who can like dance, who can sing, जो act कर सकता है, or maybe who's like very a good orator who can like take part in debate competitions. I've tried all of those things. मैंने डांस भी किया. I sang in a band also, but I wasn't good at it. So I always had like very terrible experiences. I would like to share one experience. It's a like very funny experience. I was in seventh standard, or there was this Hindi debate competition, and I've never like taken part in any debate competition. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. Try karte hain. My mom is a school teacher. She's a maths teacher, science teacher. So I took help from her. Topic पे I wrote a paper, सारा notes वगैरह लिखा मैंने, रट्टा लगाया, like I just learned it by heart. And I went on this like एक जो line था like the day जब debate competition था. So like in my school it was a convent CBSE school. There were like around 400 500 students assembly में, they were present. And line में खड़ा हुआ था जब मैं, and everybody was like giving tips कि how you can like put more impact. So what I was doing कि एक ही paper था. I had just one paper. Just I wrote everything, all the details and everything. I used to read and then I used to fold. Then again I used to read, again I used to fold. कि हाँ याद हो रहा है, याद हो रहा है, याद हो रहा है, याद हो रहा है. But what I like, I didn't pay attention to it. कि there were wrinkles were forming over that page. Wrinkles आ रहे. फिर खोल रहा हूँ, फिर पढ़ रहा हूँ. I was in line and they were like people, they were seniors who were giving tips कि there is going to be like a wooden table and if you want to like make some impactful अच्छा point वगैरह देना है, then you have to like slam the table कि this is my point and I'm right and everything. So with all of that thing in my mind, I went on the stage. Gaya mein, I was shivering. I was like, that was the first time I like went on a stage to like publicly read something in front of like that much people. So I went on the stage and I opened, like I started like, first of all, I tried to remember, but I couldn't talk. I like थोड़ा shivering हो रहा था, my shivering चालू हो गया था. Voice निकलना, मैं try कर रहा था, but मेरा voice नहीं निकल रहा था. It was like very horrible experience and I could listen ki okay, kids are already started laughing. Like I knew they are my friends who are laughing, but there are other kids also who are also laughing. So I started like I'm genuinely telling you this truth. I started by saying my name is Arpit Vyas and slam. सब लोग हंसने लग गए and I was like कि क्या हो गया है, ठीक है. And then I thought okay चलो I'll try to remember एक line बोला but I forgot it. Then I took out my paper निकाला and there were wrinkles over it, so I couldn't even read कि ये क्या है. Shit, नहीं पढ़ा था मेरे से. और फिर वही छोड़ के मैं नीचे, like I just said sorry and I ran to my class and अच्छा खासा रोया. अभी my friends came and they were like कि ठीक है, it happened, it's okay. My mom, my teacher, everybody were like, it's okay, it's fine, that happened, that was the first time. But for me as a kid, like it was something which I've never done and I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to give it my best, but I just couldn't do it and failed it miserably over it. So I'm telling you, this experience made me realize that okay, chalo, this thing didn't work. But I have to be cool. I have to do something which makes my own identity. Art hai, but the thing is, art is not cool in the school. Art mein, what I felt ki even my drawing teacher, she was like, okay, it's just a casual subject. Mostly faculty, they used to give examples of like IAS, engineers, doctors. So starting से ही mindset एक ऐसा बन गया था. Families में भी they were doctors and engineers. वहाँ से पूरा mindset ऐसा हो गया कि okay, like एक path जो है, like coming from a middle class family, I can tell you कि parents have certain expectations कि okay, यहाँ से बच्चे को अच्छा एजुकेशन देंगे हम, he'll get into this thing, IIT में जाएगा, AEEE में जाएगा, he'll be like get a good paying job and life is short. सेम प्लान था मेरा भी, और लाइक सेम प्लान था मेरे पेरेंट्स का. आई डिडंट हैड एनी गाइडेंस एंड मेरे पास कुछ नहीं था एजुकेशन, लाइक आर्ट, स्पेसिफिकली आर्ट में देयर वाज नो आर्ट एटमॉस्फेयर. फॉर मी इट वाज अ कोपिंग मैकेनिज्म. आई हैड दिस इंजरी व्हेन आई वाज इन फोर्थ स्टैंडर्ड. इट टुक मी 4 years to start walking back normally. 7 surgeries हुई है मेरी. So in that time of period, जब आप 11 और 12 एज के लड़के हो, that to in 90s kid if you are, you have to be like very active, right? Colony में बच्चे हैं, school में बच्चे हैं, they all are playing, they all are running around, they are कूद रहे हैं, भाग रहे हैं, क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं. But I had a cast, I had a plaster over my right leg. Even to take a piss, even to take a shit, I had to ask my parents. They used to help me. और उस टाइम पे जितना मैंने प्रैक्टिस किया था, I like still I don't do that much amount of practice because उस टाइम पे I had nothing else to do. And my parents were also supportive because देखा उन्हें बच्चा like he can't do anything else, he can't go out and play board games भी कितना खेलेगा, कितना chess खेलेगा. Drawing के लिए they used to like get me comics. मेरा पढ़ाई comics पढ़ता था, draw करता था. वहाँ से unintentionally I felt कि base बनना चालू हो गया था proportion wise if you speak with, but technically speaking इतना मेरे को कुछ knowledge था नहीं. So once my 10th complete, I ऑप्शन आया साइंस, मैथ्स, साइंस बायो, कॉमर्स. कॉमर्स लेंगे तो सीए बनेंगे, साइंस मैथ्स तो इंजीनियर, साइंस बायो तो डॉक्टर. लेकिन जनरलाइज्ड सब लोगों का पाथ रहता है. ऑल ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स दे वर आल्सो इनटू द सेम फील्ड की हाँ ठीक है, कोई अगर अलग भी करना चाहता है तो ही न्यू कि ओके आई वांट टू गो इनटू द इंडियन आर्मी. Three or four of my friends they are in army. So 10th के बाद में साइंस लिया. 12th के बाद में आई फेल्ट कि ओके चलो अब तो इंजीनियरिंग करनी है. पेरेंट्स had good expectations. They wanted me to be into IIT, AICC. I tried, but I couldn't get into it because it's tough. I mean, I was a decent student. 70, 75, 80% आ जाता था मेरा. But I always felt कि it's very unnecessary to remember all those things if you have all this information already in the books. So exams में I never put lot of effort. जितना याद रहता मैं उतना लिख देता. ऐसा मेरा 12th complete हो गया. I got into the engineering, private university. इंडिया में ऐसा है कि if you have money to pay fees, then ultimately you will get degree. So same private university, I got into the university. I was again over there also I was a decent student. Internships में मैंने 2-3 जगह किया है. मैंने ABG शिपयार्ड करके एक recently काफी famous, I don't know if you guys know about it, but एक recently एक scam आया है 22,000 crores का. ABG शिपयार्ड करके कंपनी है जिन्होंने ये scam किया है. And I was there in 2013. I was doing internship over there. फिर मैंने ONGC में भी मैंने इंटर्नशिप किया. सो एक मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर के प्रोस्पेक्ट से भी आई हैड अ गुड. बट द प्रॉब्लम अकर्ड व्हेन माय कॉलेज एंड. सो माय कॉलेज दे नेवर गेव एनी असिस्टेंस फॉर अस टू गेट एनी प्लेसमेंट के लिए कोई असिस्टेंस नहीं था. आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग कॉलेज वी वर ऑल ऑन आवर ओन. सो इंजीनियरिंग कंप्लीट किया मैंने. Now what happened, what I personally felt when I was in engineering or when I was in school, I knew कि okay कल exam है, I have notes, I have to study, I'm going to study, I'm going to give my exams, numbers आएंगे, numbers that's it. Like इतना ही मेरा गोल रहता था. Like कुछ ऐसा इंटरेस्ट मेरा कभी डेवलप नहीं हुआ कि okay ये मैकेनिकल है, इसका पिस्टन ऐसा वर्क करता है, ये इंजन है, ये स्टीम इंजन है, वेल्डिंग ऐसा रहता है. इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं आया मेरे को. इंटरेस्ट खाली आर्ट से रिलेटेड ये था कि आई न्यू कि मैकेनिकल लूंगा तो मे बी आई कैन लाइक बिकम एन ऑटोमोबाइल डिजाइनर, कार्स डिजाइन करने को मेरे को मिलेगा. बट कॉलेज में आके रियलाइज हुआ कि ओके वो अलग चीज है और मेरा मैकेनिकल इट्स वेरी कोर, इसमें अलग चीज जाएगा. सो इंजीनियरिंग कंप्लीट हुआ. इंजीनियरिंग कंप्लीट होने के बाद में कॉलेज से आने के बाद में बहुत बेसिक डाउट था, बहुत ही बेसिक डाउट था मेरे को कि आई जस्ट कुडंट कन्विंस माई सेल्फ टू गेट अ जॉब. लाइक एक जॉब आपका लाइफ टाइम आपका कमिटमेंट है. आप एक बार उधर चले गए, if you once you get in, of course like there are exceptions who again switch, but at that time I felt कि यार it's damn hard for me to convince myself to get a job. How am I going to convince other person to give me this job? बहुत ही बेसिक डाउट है ये. But I just can't share it with anyone. Like everyone will be like, yeah, you have already done engineering, you have already got good marks, you have good internship, resume is strong है तेरा, just go and get a job. But for me it was very hard to just like even apply. Like I've lied to my parents कि मैंने यहाँ apply किया, मैंने वहाँ apply किया, but the honest fact was कि नहीं हो रहा था मेरे से कि यार मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा, मैं कैसे करूंगा. how am I supposed to do, how am I supposed to go, how am I supposed to give exams, again I have to read everything. So वो mindset के साथ में I came out from my college. अभी कॉलेज से आने के बाद what one let's say like one moment can change your life. So that happened with me. I for one of the exam in June 2014 I went to Jaipur. एक एग्जाम था मेरा वहाँ पे जयपुर में, एंड आई स्टेड एट वन ऑफ माय म्यूचुअल फ्रेंड्स प्लेस. सो इट वाज अ 2-story बंगलो. I always had this habit, like मेरे को posters बहुत पसंद है. Like even when I was kid, I like WWE fans, WWE fighters के posters हो गए या फिर bikes के posters हो गए. So I used to like crave for those posters and just used to stick it all over my wall. But the problem was कि Udaipur is a small city, so I couldn't get posters. So like after 9th and 10th class, I started painting all my like favorite basketball players हो गए, like WWE wrestlers हो गए. So I used to draw their portraits and used to paint them and put it on my wall. So ये habit हमेशा से रही. Even अभी भी you can see like there is a painting right behind it. Like my flat is full with my paintings and I just love it. Not just my paintings, even like some of the other artists who are my friends. So I've got their art prints also and I have that also. Like बहुत inspiring रहता है. Like you guys should try it. Like
Sir,
खाली तुम्हारा
Arpit
जो
sir,
favorite art,
sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
Should I just start the PPT and go to the paintings that you're talking about?
Uh, हाँ, like early life का वाला start कर दीजिए वो first PPT. Yes, yes, yes. So this was Arpit Vyas in 2013 at ABG Shipyard. शक्ल से ही दिख रहा है कि थोड़ा डरा हुआ है. And then नीचे it was in 2020, नहीं 2019 TEDx event. Yeah, so this is like what my journey has been. Totally unexpected. कभी कोई डिसीजन मैंने ऐसा स्पेसिफिक लिया, लाइक इट वाज नेवर एन इम्पल्सिव डिसीजन कि नहीं अभी मेरे को लाइक आर्टिस्ट बनना है. थोड़ा टाइम लगा. आई हैड टू गिव टाइम. आई न्यू दैट it's going to take certain level of patience for me to get into this field. Financially it's going to be very hard. I don't have like any kind of guidance. So yeah, eventually, but yeah, now I'm talking with you, so it all worked out. And you can see these are like my earliest sketches. Comic characters inspired. Okay, I just created myself. Guys, what's up? Where is my people? Here I represent you, Mr. AV. AV is Arpit Vyas. ठीक है, like okay. And then all of these like my paintings from my. This is my home in Udaipur. यहाँ पे सारे हमारे paintings है. And side में दूसरी wall का paintings है सारा. You can see all the pop culture reference were there. Like pop culture का काफी like मेरे पे impact रहा है over the time period. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the right image, it was from 2016. I moved here in Pune in 2014. 14 में one of my friend got a job here in Pune and he told me if I'm looking for a job, so it's better if I search from here. I came here, I lived with the IT people and saw the IT people like how they are like working weekdays and they have this weekend off and they are doing like other stuff. So I thought maybe I can like get into the IT field and I can like pursue my this like art hobby as a career in the weekend time. But so one of those days, but yeah, I joined this one course, Seed Infotech Java programming language for learning Java programming. But the problem was कि I just couldn't pay any attention. Like उस time पे the art got like to the art bug का जो रहता कीड़ा totally got into me. So I was just painting, I was just drawing. The left side, this image is from like maybe 2020. Yeah, like during the lockdown. Lockdown, I painted a lot. Yeah, the whole room is filled with the painting. Next slide, please. Okay, so can you pause, ma'am? Can you pause? I just want to talk more about like me. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you pause? Can you like go back?
This one?
Yeah, this one. So stay
Okay.
here. I'll tell you when to switch. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying about the like how I move. So okay, for me, what art is, I want to first explain. I've tried I've tried a lot of things. Okay, I went on stage for dance, I sang, and I failed at everything. And all this time when I was failing, the only coping mechanism I had was my art. But I knew okay, that I'm not getting the proper art atmosphere. I'm not getting a proper encouragement, no guidance I'm not getting. So once my engineering, I completed my engineering, and as I was telling you before that I went to Jaipur and over there I saw one of this guy who used to paint exactly like me and he was making money at that time. He used to paint in restaurants, in cafes, and he was taking portrait commissions. While he was studying he was an architecture student. So while he was studying, he was making money through art. So when I got to know about this, I felt okay, yeah, मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. I can also do it. This is something कि it can be done. Like इतना मेरा art का level है. So once I came back from Jaipur and I started painting a lot. Like काफी मैंने painting किया मैंने. So 2014 I like painted a lot. In 2015 I did this particular image where I'm drawing. It's from 2016. So one of a very senior artist from here in Pune, he used to have the Sunday classes. So I got to know about from Facebook, and I went over there, and they were this live studying. All these things were happening, and all these other students, they are from proper art college, and I was the only one who did engineering and who's now sitting over there trying to do. So from there I felt okay, I'm putting efforts now, I'm putting my time into understanding the art, and this is where like people are actually like I can connect with the people, I can express myself much better way than what I've done previously. So from there I felt okay, I should give it a chance. Like I had this conversation, a brief conversation with my mom in tea, and I like she was tense, she was stressed because his only son, he spent already so much time learning engineering and everything, and she also had like certain kind of expectations, but now like I wants to get into something totally different with nothing, like starting from total scratch. So थोड़ा tough था वो conversation, and eventually like I told her कि okay, give me like 6 months, in 6 महीनों में if I'm able to do something great, something good, दिख जाएगा. I'm like sensible enough to make my life choices. So luckily, yeah, said yeah she said yes. So I started with this art journey. 2016 say I started learning on my own. I knew that it's gonna take some time. It took me like around 4 years to like properly present myself as an artist, to introduce myself as an artist. And from there, like the point where I got this confidence कि okay, now I can introduce myself as an artist. इंजीनियरिंग गया, अभी साइंस गया, उदयपुर सब पीछे रह गया. अभी अर्पित व्यास, he is in Pune. He really loves to draw, and now he wants to make his career into art. So where there it all begins. This particular image where I'm sitting and drawing, okay, at that time I was like totally focused. Okay, I have to spend, I have to give everything, and there are going to be lots of sacrifices. There are going to be so much of stress, of course. But yeah, like मतलब choice मेरा आ गया था कि okay, choose हो गया था. So yeah, from there it all begins. This was whole my journey. He what like the topic we have is understanding the aesthetics of art. So what I'm going to do right now is I have couple of my favorite projects. उनके pictures है मेरे पास में. I'm going Tanvi ma'am, she's going to share all those things, and I'm just going to tell you कि क्यों किया मैंने, क्या किया मैंने, कैसे किया. So first of all, aesthetics art का is first, I feel it's like quite opinion oriented. कुछ लोगों को फूल पत्तियां पसंद आती है, कुछ लोगों को लाइक फेस पसंद आता है. कलर पैलेट का काफी कलर पैलेट इज आल्सो वन ऑफ द very important thing, and composition आता है. There are many technical stuff. So first of all I want to talk about the layering. If you are an artist, ठीक है, कोई भी मीडियम हो, बी ट्रेडिशनल बी डिजिटल, कोई भी मीडियम रहेगा, layering is one of the very important aspect of the final painting, the final art which is going to come. Tanvi ma'am, can you go on to the next slide? Okay. So this is an abstract watercolor, like somewhere realism, somewhere abstract. This kind of a portrait which I've done of a friend. So the point which I'm making here is about the layering. So layering क्या है? Layering is कि जो first slide है, if you see, यहाँ पे मैंने खाली black part cover किया है. Now if you understand the art में there is line, there is first of all there is point, then comes the line, then comes from lines you can form any shapes. उन shapes को join करके you can make a form. तो आपका जो canvas है उस पे you are creating some form with some negative space. So ये एक basic structure रहता है कहीं पे भी, like कुछ भी art से related है, ऐसा एक basic structure है कि you have this negative space, you have some subjects which are in a form. Now what you can do is उस form के अंदर you can play with lights. There are highlights, there are shadows, there are midtones, there are many different things. So what I've done here in this one particular sketch, you can see the first slide where I've just painted the black thing. वहाँ पे I have tried to capture the darkest values, the black का जो value रहता है. This is a watercolor medium. So मैंने फेस में आईज बनाया, नोज का मैंने लाइन बनाया, लिप्स बनाया, मैंने चिन बनाया, थोड़ा हेयर का इधर आया, थोड़ा हेयर का ईयर के ऊपर आया. So यहाँ से I got the form, I got the shadow part. If you see the third photo, थोड़ा वो sorted नहीं है. So you can see again I have gone to the shadow part. Like eyes के यहाँ पे you can see कि eye और nose इन दोनों के बीच में एक depth है. उस depth को दिखाने के लिए I have painted a shadow. So this is going to be like darker part. So same पूरे face में cheek हो गया, neck के नीचे हो गया. ये एक second layer हो गया. So first layer was that thing. I let it dry, सूख गया वो. उसके बाद में I moved to second layer, which is the third photo. Then to the second photo you can see कि और ऐसे मैंने values build up किया. Shadows के बाद में mid tones आया है. और last में if you see the final image, you can see कि I have left some white spaces. So those white spaces are the highlights, जिसको मैंने बिल्कुल touch भी नहीं किया. So you can see कि एक layer बनाया, दो layer बनाया, तीन layer बनाया, चार layer बनाया, पांच layer बनाया. So when you play with the layers, first of all जो आपका artwork रहता है, it looks more mature. ज़्यादा mature दिखेगा वो. उसमें anyone can see कि okay इस पे काम हुआ है. Lots of efforts have put in it. So this is how layering का मैंने एक example दिया है इस particular एक artwork. Can you switch to the next slide? Okay, so this is oil portrait, oil painting का portrait है ये. Lucky Ali, very famous singer, like one of my favorite singer. उनको एक tribute दिया था मैंने एक painting बना के. एक Eminem का भी portrait. I'm also big fan of Eminem. बता देता हूँ. So यहाँ पे भी you can see, first of all मैंने line drawing बनाया. उस line drawing में मैंने कुछ detail नहीं किया मैंने. The second image you can see I started with the background. So background मैंने किया है. Can we have next slide? Okay. So you can see कि background में भी I played around. Background के बाद में I moved to the shadow part. So you can see eyes हो गया, this cheek part हो गया. Darkest values put किए मैंने वहाँ पे. फिर बाद में मैंने mid tones पे आया हूँ. फिर last में से मैं beard पे आया हूँ. You can see the final thing. So in this particular series of pictures, what I want you to consider is कि how I played with the strokes. अभी strokes क्या होता है? आप एक पेंसिल का एक लाइन बनाएंगे, एक चारकोल को अगर आप सीधा रख के ऐसे चारकोल का एक स्ट्रोक बनाएंगे, इसके बाद में एक एक्रिलिक ब्रश का एक स्ट्रोक मारते हैं, एक ऑयल पेंटिंग का स्ट्रोक मारते हैं, एक वाटर कलर का एक ब्रश से आप एक स्ट्रोक मारते हैं. Every stroke has its own characteristics. They has its own I can say like beauty. The अभी आप जितना प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, लाइक अगर आपका पेंसिल पे आपका अगर हाथ अच्छे से बैठता है, इफ यू आर डूइंग विद चारकोल, इफ यू आर डूइंग इट विद एनी ड्राई मीडियम, क्रेयॉन्स हो गए, ऑयल पेस्टल्स हो गए, ऑयल पेस्टल्स करके मीडियम रहता है, एक सॉफ्ट पेस्टल्स रहता है. सो आप एक के बाद एक अलग अलग मीडियम्स ट्राई करेंगे. सो देन यू विल गेट टू नो अबाउट द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द स्ट्रोक्स एंड कि आप कितना उसको डिफर कर सकते हैं. Where you can smudge it, where you can blend it. कहीं पे blending you don't want to blend it. You can see the final painting I have left intentionally I have left few spots. Yellow color का आपको दिखेगा face पे, turquoise color का दिखेगा. So those colors are coming from the background. Another thing which I want to consider in this particular portrait is composition के अलावा if you look at the color palette. So yellow, if you should have a good knowledge of color wheel. आप color के साथ अगर आपको खेलना है, so first of all आपको you need to understand कि how the color wheel works. Warm tones क्या है, cooler tones क्या है. Once you get the like proper knowledge about the color palette, color wheel, उसके बाद में you can totally play with it. Yellow color और blue turquoise, ये दोनों complementary colors मारते हैं. Like it's very natural for both of them to make. So यहाँ पे फिर के साथ में I proceeded और like ये result आया. I just hope कि Lucky Ali himself he get this painting one day. That's we all pray. होगा तो होगा. Next slide. Okay. Uh, that time,
Sir,
yeah.
sir, there is too much of echo all of a sudden. Okay, I think.
मैं एक second.
Can you try joining from your tab for the audio?
अच्छा, okay. So I'll mute it on. Hello,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, I think this is much better.
Okay, okay,
Much better. Okay.
okay.
Yes.
So yeah, about this one, this wall painting I did at Good Luck Cafe. So you all know, like Pune ka Good Luck is very famous. So there was this artist space over just above it. वहाँ पे I had this one wall, just and I had like total freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. And for me, I wanted to like kind of go with the time flow. Like जो मेरे दिमाग में there was this short brief कि whatever I'm going to do is it should be related to the time. So time के लिए past, present, future ये तीन concept है मेरे. So उससे related I made these three faces. एक मैंने rough sketch बनाया था which is over here. ये rough sketch like एक like very like initial concept idea था ये. मेरा लाइक प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं बोलूंगा बट हाँ मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम मैं जो भी प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करता हूँ जो भी पेंटिंग में बनाता हूँ आई हैव लाइक नो क्लू अबाउट कि फाइनल डिजाइन कैसा आएगा लाइक जो प्रोसेस रहता है जो जर्नी रहता है इट्स वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर मी उस प्रोसेस में व्हाट आई डू इज कि लाइक आई आई प्ले अराउंड लाइक जैसे पिकासो ने बोला है कि इफ यू नो द रूल्स यू कैन ब्रेक द रूल्स एंड यू शुड प्ले विद द रूल्स राइट सो मेरा भी हमेशा से एक लाइक विजन ऐसा रहता है कि स्टार्ट करने का प्रॉपर रूल्स के साथ में प्रोपोर्शंस हो गए फंडामेंटल्स अगर आपके क्लियर है उसके बाद में कंपोजिशन में यू कैन प्ले अराउंड सो यहाँ पे पास्ट प्रेजेंट एंड फ्यूचर ये तीन डिनोट करते हैं ये तीनों फेसेस then you can see there's red color there's green color there's blue color right so RGB एक विजुअल आर्टिस्ट के लिए RGB is like very basic color palette right इससे आप काफी कलर्स बना सकते हैं सो वो इनिशियल उस आइडिया उस कॉन्सेप्ट के साथ में आई पुट इन द कलर्स next slide please
Sir, before we go to the next slide, I have a very small question for you. As you said right now that
yeah
when you start your paintings or when you start your work at a certain place, you don't always plan for the final result. But then at the same
yeah
time, you also added that you are 100% or more than that sure that your basics, your color wheel, your what do you say anatomy and everything is so strong that you can enjoy that process. So how does that work for you?
uh, like can you repeat please
Sorry, so I was saying ki, you said that when you started this project, especially let's talk about this one, you were not
okay
sure how it is going to look in the end. You just had a idea
yeah
that it will be something related to time and space.
yes yes
Okay,
yes yes
but after that sentence you immediately added another sentence where you said that but when you're sure about what you're doing, and you gave Picasso's reference.
yeah
uh, so how important is knowing your basics and being so strong? Does that help you to break rules and just set free, and when you have an empty canvas like a big wall, to just experiment, throw colors maybe, and
yeah
do your thing?
see the fundamental what I'm talking about is knowing the proper proportions knowing about the light having the study like having the understanding of how light plays having the understanding of how the composition works so these are like the very fundamentals if you are like well versed with all these fundamentals then you can play with the composition as in like एक space है मेरा and I know कि I have like three subjects so I'm going to place it like ये डोर जो है ये भी मेरा कंपोजिशन का एक पार्ट था लाइक मेरे को डोर बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि ऑलरेडी एक डोर है सो व्हाट आई एम लाइक ये फाइनल आर्ट वर्क अगर आप देखेंगे तो इट्स लाइक इट्स समवेयर इट्स इन द टाइम ट्रैवल वो कॉन्सेप्ट हो जाता है जो रोमन नंबर्स है जो गियर्स जो दिख रहे हैं luckily like I'm telling very honestly when I was painting
this when I was painting this thing. There was this wall, the very antique old wall. वहाँ पे रखा हुआ था, like वो अभी गुड लक के ऊपर है. It's like very old place. तो वहाँ पे वो एक wall antique wall रखा हुआ था. And when I saw those gears, and I was like immediately okay. यहाँ पे I have to put this thing. यहाँ पे gears आएंगे, एक swirl आएगा. वो swirl is inspired from the previous. Like आप एक rough sketch में देखेंगे तो मैंने continuous circles बनाए मैंने. बट जब मैं पेंट कर रहा था तो आई न्यू कि हाँ लाइक कंटिन्यूस बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट एक स्वर्ल आएगा ना, दैट अलोन कैन गिव द व्हाट वी कैन से कि इल्यूजन कि हाँ एक मोशन, वी कैन सी कि एक मोशन दिख रहा है हमको यहाँ पे. और उस मोशन में घड़ी लाइक वॉच का फील देने के लिए आई पेंटेड ऑल दिस गियर्स. सो दैट्स हाउ लाइक ये मेरा कॉन्सेप्ट था. यहाँ से दिस पर्टिकुलर पेंटिंग केम इनटू रियलिटी. Cool.
Perfect. So, initial those lines and then going to minimalism of a soul and, taking inspiration from what is around you. I think that is the best part of it. Is
Yeah.
I
See,
personally like as an artist about your work. So,
सी इंस्पिरेशन, हाँ मेरा इंस्पिरेशन हमेशा मेरे सराउंडिंग्स है. मतलब क्यों ज्यादा आगे पीछे क्यों देखना, जब
yeah.
यू नो लाइक इफ यू वांट टू स्टडी अबाउट द एनाटॉमी, very basic exercise, like all the kids, I want them to do this practice to learn the anatomy. और simple hand को आपको ऐसा रखना है, just keep it steady and draw it. doesn't matter कैसा रिजल्ट आ रहा है. मैं भी ऐसे सीखा था. तो यहाँ से यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि ओके यहाँ से इसका ये प्रोपोर्शन है, इसका ये ऐसा कर्व आ रहा है. और जो भी आप स्केच बनाते हैं, it हमेशा ऑलवेज ट्राई टू डिवाइड इट इनटू लाइक सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्म. अभी अगर मेरा हाथ देखेंगे तो यू कैन सी कि एक रेक्टेंगल में ये फिंगर्स का पोर्शन आ जाएगा, राइट. एक दूसरे रेक्टेंगल में पाम पूरा मेरा कवर हो जाएगा, और एक ये साइड में ऐसा है. सो आप कभी भी ड्रॉ भी करेंगे ना, फॉर्म्स बनाने का, खाली शेप्स बना के एक फॉर्म आपको मिल जाएगा. उसके बाद में यू कैन एमिट, यू कैन कि यहाँ से अगर मेरे को ये इमेज नहीं चाहिए, लाइक यहाँ पे अगर ये लाइन आ रहा है तो ये लाइन यहाँ से चला गया, ये यहाँ से चला गया, ये यहाँ से काट दिया अपन. स्कल्पटिंग कैसे करते हैं आपको? स्कल्पटिंग में भी वी हैव कि एक प्रॉपर हमारे पास एक क्ले का पूरा मोल्ड रहेगा. फिर बाद में हम धीरे धीरे करके उससे एक चीज हटाते, एक चीज हटाते, ईयर्स बनाते, नोज बनाते. सो लाइक ऐसे अगेन द सेम थिंग, इन लेयर्स में अगर काम करेंगे ना तो हमारा रिजल्ट हमेशा बहुत अच्छा आने वाला है. या सो ओके, ये वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट पेंटिंग, मेरा अभी तक का बहुत अच्छा पेंटिंग रहा है. होपफुली नेक्स्ट मंथ दिस विल गेट दिस विल गेट एग्जिबिटेड इन जहांगीर गैलरी मुंबई में. वहाँ पे मैंने भेज रखा है. इट गॉट सेलेक्ट तो अच्छा. तो यहाँ पे भी यू कैन सी एज आई सेड कि फंडामेंटल्स आपके क्लियर होने चाहिए. यहाँ पे हाउ आई प्लेड इज प्रोपोर्शंस के साथ में मैंने ये 4 लोगों का मैंने फिगर बनाया. उसके बाद में अलोंग द जर्नी 4 या 5 साल से आई वर्कड ऑन एवरी मीडियम. मैंने चारकोल पे काम किया है, मैंने वाटर कलर हो गया, सॉफ्ट पेस्टल्स हो गया, ऑयल्स हो गया, एक्रेलिक्स हो गया. सो दे आर लाइक ऑल ऑफ द मीडियम विच आई हैव ट्राइड. एक लेवल के बाद में आई फेल्ट कि ओके नाउ आई एम सेटिस्फाइड विद व्हाट लेवल आई एम. सो अलोंग द वे स्क्रिबल, बॉल पेन स्क्रिबल, आई फेल्ट कि लाइक इट गिव्स मी इमेंस फ्रीडम टू एक्सप्रेस माई सेल्फ. तो यहाँ पे आई हैव डन द सेम थिंग. एक बार मैंने एक फर्स्ट फर्स्ट पिक्चर में यू कैन सी की इमेज से आई गॉट दी प्रोपोर्शंस राइट. सेकंड इमेज में यू कैन सी की स्क्रिबल किया है मैंने. सो फर्स्ट लेयर वो वाला हो गया. ये सेकंड लेयर में पूरा स्क्रिबल करा है मैंने खाली ब्लैक बॉल पेन से. उसके बाद में द थर्ड लेयर विच केम, जहाँ पे मैंने आई यूज वाटर कलर. सो यू कैन सी की पूरा थर्ड इमेज में कि पूरा वाटर कलर से मैंने इसको प्रॉपर कलर किया मैंने. कैन यू स्विच टू नेक्स्ट? ओके. तो उसके बाद में आई हैव दिस प्लेन बैकग्राउंड. मेरे पास बैकग्राउंड में आई वांटेड टू एक्सपेरिमेंट अगेन. सो आई मेड दिस 2 color blocks inspired from Mark Rothko, if you know, abstract artist है. सो वहां से आई पेंटेड द बैकग्राउंड पूरा. उसके बाद थर्ड इमेज में यू कैन सी कि आई गोल्ड फॉइल चिपकाया मैंने पूरा, तो ये एक और ये नेक्स्ट लेयर हो गई है। सो पूरा ऐसे उसको चिपका के मैंने उसको कवर किया। नाउ आई वांट, लाइक उस पॉइंट पे आई वांटेड टू एक्सपेरिमेंट समथिंग डिफरेंट, लाइक दैट बैकग्राउंड नीड टू like resonate something. I didn't want to put it flat. So the last image which you can see, जिस पे एक बैकग्राउंड दिखेगा आपको, जैसे पिक्चर ऑफ माय मदर साड़ी की, लाइक मैं उदयपुर में था, जो थर्ड इमेज है वहां तक मैंने करके आई वेंट टू उदयपुर एट माय होम, बैठा हुआ था मॉम के साथ में, मॉम की साड़ी सूख रही थी और मैंने खाली इमेज देखा और मेरे को एक क्लिक हुआ कि यार दिस इज समथिंग डिफरेंट, ओके आई शुड गिव इट अ ट्राई। और देन यू कैन सी सेकंड इमेज में आई डिड द सेम, लाइक you can all like ma'am you can can you zoom it to show the details?
Yes, just give me a second. I think I'll have to like
अच्छा,
just one.
सर एज्ड वो जो गोल्ड फॉइल का जो पूरा जो था, एक रेड एक्रेलिक बैकग्राउंड के ऊपर गोल्ड फॉइल था, तो सेम मैं प्रॉपर नॉर्मल कटर के साथ में आई एच्ड एवरी लाइक डिजाइन एंड इट turned out like amazing, like I'm myself very proud of my work. क्या मस्त बनाया।
uh, Sir, I just wanted to ask, like, this specific painting, when you start with ball pen
Yeah,
and then you add watercolors. So
yeah,
mostly, somebody might just stop at this stage. Like,
yes,
this looks nice. Like, if I
right,
do
right, right.
something more, I will end up mixing it, or कि खराब हो जाएगा, कुछ और हो
हाँ,
जाएगा, इतना मेहनत किया है. But then you go, you paint bold colors, you add
yeah,
contrast colors, then you think that it's not enough, then you add gold foils, then you get
yeah,
inspired by your mom's sari and then you add those patterns. Aren't you
yeah.
scared? you know it might uh, you know
See, I always knew कि I can draw another sketch. Like ये
okay,
ये जो feeling है कि you can again draw it. Once you
because
get
most
used to the
most of
drawing,
the time it happens to all the artists. I've seen this in students also. When we tell them to change something, they're like,
yeah,
अरे अभी तो अच्छा लग रहा है और खराब हो गया तो क्या. I was like कि better हो गया
हाँ,
तो क्या है, and you can always go make the other drawing. So I think this experimentation part, pushing yourself to
yeah, yeah,
see, and I think this is the best example. Like all the students can also see that instead of thinking कि खराब हो जाएगा, I think you can just take it like opportunity. What if it is better? Or you can always have another painting, or
yeah.
you can always
This
have
is the way
another
to
design.
learn. So this is how I've learned. Like अभी तक मैंने जो भी सीखा है ये सब ट्रायल एंड एरर, ट्रायल एंड एरर, ट्रायल एंड एरर। लाइक जो थ्योरेटिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन जो मेरे को, थ्योरेटिकल नॉलेज मेरे को मैकेनिकल के टाइम पे कॉलेज में मिला था मेरे को, एंड आई न्यू कि वो मेरे को कहीं पे यूज नहीं आने वाला है। और इंटर्नशिप के टाइम पे भी आई न्यू कि अच्छा ये प्रैक्टिकल हो रहा है, तो ये जो प्रैक्टिकल जो नॉलेज रहता है उसका रेलेवेंस हमेशा थ्योरेटिकल नॉलेज से ज्यादा रहता है। बट द थ्योरेटिकल नॉलेज इज वो ही एक बेस है, राइट? अभी इन आर्ट वर्क में भी आई नो कि जो अगर पीछे बैकग्राउंड में अगर खाली है तो अच्छा लग रहा है, बट द थिंग इज कि आई वांटेड टू ऐड मोर, लाइक एक्सपेरिमेंट करना पड़ेगा आप लोगों को। आपको एक आर्ट वर्क से कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला, आपको दो बनाने पड़ेंगे, आपको तीन बनाने पड़ेंगे, आपको रोज बनाने पड़ेंगे, एंड दैट्स द ओनली की। लाइक कंसिस्टेंटली इफ यू आर ड्राइंग रेगुलरली, तो ही यू विल गेट दिस फ्रीडम। नॉट जस्ट आपका ड्राइंग सुधरेगा, बट आपको ऐसा लाइक फ्रीडम मिलेगा कि हाउ यू कैन एक्सप्रेस इन मच बेटर वे। लाइक आई बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट कि ये जो मैंने पीस बनाया है, अभी भी आई एम नॉट सेटिस्फाइड विद दिस थिंग। लाइक मेरे दिमाग में और कुछ आइडियाज है, बट द प्रॉब्लम इज कि यहाँ पे अभी कुछ जगह बचा नहीं है। बट विद द सेम लेयरिंग कॉन्सेप्ट कि हाँ, लाइक आई एम गोइंग टू मेक अ फिगर, आई एम गोइंग टू डू लाइक स्क्रिबल, प्रॉपर स्क्रिबल करूंगा, देन वॉल पेंट, सॉरी वाटर कलर में उसके ऊपर करूंगा, उसके बाद फिर मैं ऐसा कुछ कंपोजिशन करूंगा। सो वो जो पीस आएगा, आई एम लाइक वेरी श्योर कि इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी डिफरेंट। अभी
Sir,
ये
sir,
एक्सपेरिमेंट।
have you ever created a artwork and then after a month just repainted the whole thing, like
हाँ
repainted the
हाँ हाँ
canvas
हाँ,
or
मैं
the
आ रहा
wall?
हूँ, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं
अच्छा
लास्ट की मेरी सीरीज पे मैं वही चीज पे
ओके
कवर करूंगा.
ओके
यस यस यस. ओके, चलो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. ओके, सो as a commercial artist, like last year I painted over 40 walls. म्यूजिक स्टूडियोज को पेंट किया है मैंने, न्यूज़पेपर के ऑफिस को पेंट किया है मैंने, 3-4 रेस्टोरेंट्स, कैफे, आर्किटेक्ट स्टूडियो. सो 2-3 प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में लाइक आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दिस वन पर्टिकुलर. इट्स अ रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो बाय टिकड़ी लेबल. एक टिकड़ी लेबल करके है. दोज रैप लाइक मोस्टली दे आर हिप हॉप म्यूजिक उनका रहता है. सो क्लाइंट ब्रीफ में इट वाज वेरी क्लियर कि दे वांट ऑल द लेजेंडरी हिप हॉप आर्टिस्ट. तो ये एक वॉल था. आई न्यू, उन्होंने मेरे को लिस्ट दिया था कि ये सारे लोगों के मेरे को फेसेस कंपोज करने हैं मेरे को. अभी ऑल्सो एक टाइम का भी मेरे को एक इशू था. तो इसमें यू कैन सी अगर लाइक फेसेस का आप देखेंगे ना, तो आई हैव नॉट डन एनी ब्लेंडिंग. आपको लाइक क्लियरली दिखेगा, लाइक ये लाइंस वगैरह दिखेंगे कि हाँ इसमें ब्लेंडिंग किया. नेक्स्ट फोटो पे आप स्विच करेंगे. ओके, सो या जो नियॉन पेंट के नीचे वाला जो है, या उसमें यू कैन सी कि काफी लाइक ब्लेंडिंग नहीं है. इट्स मोर लाइक कॉमिकल, थोड़ा सा पॉप कल्चर को रिप्रेजेंट करता है. ये ब्रीफ के बाद में अदर ब्रीफ उनका ये था कि इट शुड लाइक पॉप आउट. सो आई यूज द नियॉन पेंट्स टू मेक द होल बैकग्राउंड. So like a final image, it turned out like this, and again they all were like very happy, and I was also very happy. It came out like this. Next, acha. So this one was till date. Till date, it was one of the most hectic, one of the most like बहुत खतरनाक प्रोजेक्ट था ये मेरा. मैरीगोल्ड, दिस वन होटल, गुड़गांव के वहाँ पे इट्स होटल. सो क्लाइंट, he himself, like he was a very tasteful kind, like tasteful person. He himself had a degree in art, BFA. He did it like 70s around that time. So very knowledgeable person. I was like very glad that I got this particular project. And they had this wooden frame. You can see this wooden frame. So this wooden frame was from Jaisalmer, and they wanted a Haveli view. Like if you look from like outside, it should look like there's some uh, re, Haveli view, right? So I started with a charcoal, sorry, chalk drawing. So पूरा जो मैंने ड्राइंग बनाया पहले, I did with chalk. Even the shading also, like अलग अलग कलर्स के साथ में I shaded. ये पूरा होने के बाद में I started with my paints. So you can see नीचे वाली इमेज में ये. Next slide. Yeah, so this how it turned out. It was like 2 point perspective. Again, fundamentals very important. 2 point perspective से like you can see जो green color का जो space है वहाँ से like it was my point, origin point रहता है. Then I used red, like थोड़ा mechanical का मेरा knowledge याद आया मेरे को. फिर proper lines वगैरह बना के ये finally ऐसा बना. It took me like this is 20 feet length wall and 12 feet length, width 20 and length 12. So yeah, next. Okay. Acha, to all the students, I want them to ask कि anyone know doodle grid क्या होता है?
anybody has any idea
Doodle grid. Okay, great. So I can like it's very important tip from graffiti, from wall painting artists. Doodle grid में what happens is with doodle grid की आपका जो भी कैनवस है, ठीक है, लाइक वॉल्स तो ऑफ कोर्स है ही, देन इवन ऑन कैनवस जो भी आपका सब्जेक्ट है, लाइक अगर आपके पास इफ यू हैव अ रेफरेंस पिक्चर, with me I had this one kid drawing. ये this particular project is from Pune Mirror office. It's on Nagar Road. पेट्रोल स्टेशन के पास में ही है. Whenever you cross from there, just have a look. दिख जाएगा आपको बड़ा सा बच्चे का पेंटिंग. So doodle grid, specifically doodle grid में what you can do is कि जो भी आपका इमेज है उसके proportions को like perfectly place अगर आपको करना है तो for that reason you can use a doodle grid. Now grid system itself, like if you know कि grid system से you can get a perfect proportions. Grid में you have like certain like square कैसे blocks रहते हैं. मान लो 3x3 का एक block हो गया. जो भी आपका इमेज है अगर आप उस इमेज को उस ब्लॉक के ऊपर प्लेस करते हैं ऑन योर फोन, ऑन योर टैब, ऑन एनी डिवाइस, सो यू विल गेट द आइडिया कि ओके लाइक फर्स्ट ब्लॉक पे उसका लाइक क्या कहते फेस का लाइन आ रहा है, सेकंड ब्लॉक पे उसका आईज आ रहा है. सो वहां से यू कैन गेट द परफेक्ट प्रोपोर्शंस. या एंड डूडल ग्रिड में व्हाट हैपेंस यू कैन सी सेकंड इमेज में आई हैव दिस क्रॉस, जीरो, स्क्वायर, दिस काइंड ऑफ लाइक वेरी रैंडम छोटे छोटे ऑब्जेक्ट्स आ रहे हैं. what I do is कि इस इमेज के ऊपर when I take a picture of this thing on my phone, उसके बाद में whatever is my reference, any editing software, आप Photoshop, PixArt, like I use PixArt mostly for this, Adobe Sketchbook, so these kind of apps they allows you to put your image, whatever is your reference image, to put exactly over on this doodle का जो पूरा drawing है. So once you do that, तो आपको exactly you get the कि हाँ इस अगर स्क्वायर के यहाँ पे उसका हैट आ रहा है, उसका जो आर्म है वो एक नीचे स्क्वायर पे आ रहा है. सो वहां से यू गेट द परफेक्ट रेफरेंस. आपको जैसा आपको इमेज लाइक जैसा आपको प्रोपोर्शन चाहिए, सो वहां से ये डूडल ग्रिड ऐसा काम होता है. जस्ट लुक फॉर जस्ट गूगल डूडल ग्रिड. आप यूट्यूब पे गूगल ग्रिड के आप वीडियो देखेंगे ना, इट्स डेफिनेटली आप कोई भी छोटे से छोटे इमेज के लिए वांट टू स्केल इट अप, देन यू कैन डेफिनेटली गो लाइक यूज दिस गूगल डूडल ग्रिड.
Okay, so sir, Riya Pathak just replied directly, on the DM, and she
Yeah,
says that this is how I have done portraits before, but I didn't know that what this technique was called. So I think
it's
most
doodle
of,
grid.
yeah, have used this. Aditya says have used this
Yeah,
method,
he has
but
also
was
used it.
not knowing the exact term. So
YouTube पे definitely सर्च करना वीडियोस, आपको you will get the
I
more
will give
detailed videos.
them personal demos also for the same. So
अरे श्योर लाइक आई हैव
yes.
मोर इमेजेस, बट अभी मैंने ये लाइक ये स्पेसिफिक प्रोजेक्ट का मेरे को खाली डूडल ग्रिड का मेरे को बताना था,
No,
क्योंकि एक छोटा सा इमेज
definitely.
था एंड आई हैड टू पेंट इट ऑन
Yeah.
टू सिंगल बिल्डिंग. या
Should I go to
नेक्स्ट
the
स्लाइड.
next slide?
या नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. सो या यू कैन सी लाइक एक वॉल पेंटिंग के लिए ऐसे लाइक ऐसे रिस्की थोड़ा एनवायरनमेंट रहता है, हम लोगों को चढ़ना पड़ता है. सो ये मेरा लाइक फाइनल पेंट, ये था मेरा पेंटिंग. Any like question related to this one? बहुत ही सिंपल इसमें लाइक यू कैन सी कि कुछ शेडिंग वगैरह नहीं किया मैंने, कुछ ब्लेंडिंग नहीं किया मैंने, वेरी मिनिमल आई केप्ट इट. या सो यू कैन गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ओके, सो ये प्रोजेक्ट आई डिड इन उदयपुर. One of my friend, he got in touch with me. He's an architect and
Sir,
he,
just one second before you discuss
yeah,
about this specific this artwork. I just want to tell all the students who have specialization, who are working in the specialization for illustration. Okay, so they have
yeah,
at the third year and final year they have their specializations to choose. So they take UI UX or illustration, and right now we are
okay,
introducing typo and calligraphy and all those things. But especially for the students who have illustration as their specialization, I want them to hear every single word that sir has to say, because this is a very creatively done, and lot of thought has been into this.
आणली आहेत
So
ना इथली नोट.
everybody please
अतुल
just
दादा,
focus on.
हे ज्या मॅडम करतात आता ना, किंवा तू नको का टाकू, इथनच कर, तुला इथून प्रिंट मिळून जाईल पटकन. ती लिंक तुझ्या तिथनं इथे मला मेल कर.
Ma'am, Shruti ma'am, please mute. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the disturbance.
No, it's okay, ma'am.
No, it's fine. Okay. So this project, I got this project from a friend of mine. He is an architect and he is into landscaping. So what he used to do is जो भी hotels हैं, जो भी restaurants हैं, uh, सोसाइटीज वगैरह कॉम्प्लेक्स बिल्ड बिल्डिंग्स उनका पूरा जो प्लांटेशन का जो लैंडस्केप रहता है ही यूज्ड टू डिजाइन इट इवन फॉर द पब्लिक गार्डन्स आल्सो तो दैट वाज द ब्रीफ मेरे को फुल मेरे को फ्रीडम मिला कि you can do whatever you wanted to so I directly started with painting over the wall like I didn't had any kind of reference sketches so first एक brief ये भी था कि he was very inspired from the Roman culture आप आर्किटेक्ट में देखेंगे दे आर लाइक कॉलम्स एंड ऑल सो रोमन आर्किटेक्चर इट्स ऑन अनदर लेवल सो दैट थिंग वाज इन माय हेड एंड आई स्टार्टेड विद यू कैन सी कि एक जूलियस सीजर का फोटो था मेरे पास में उसमें मैंने फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू कैन सी कि मैंने स्पेस छोड़ा है बीच में दोनों हेड का और फेस का और उसका मिरर इमेज मैंने लेफ्ट साइड में बनाया मैंने ये चीज बनाने के बाद में another brief was कि आर्किटेक्ट है उनके लिए वास्तु का काफी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल रहता है सो ही वांटेड टू हैव अ कंपास सो यू कैन सी टू होल्ड अ कंपास आई पेंटेड अ हैंड आल्सो सो मिडिल में उनका पूरा एक हैंड आ गया नेक्स्ट इमेज ओके सो फाइनल इमेज में इफ यू सी I painted those Roman columns उनके बीच में I used gold leaf because they wanted to show कि like it's a very luxury वाला है. So I used gold वाला. That gold went well with the color palette also. So I have like green, I have blue, I have yellow. So cool और warm color का भी proper composition like color palette इसमें I used it. In my like the hand which I painted, like I'm very proud of the result which I came in. आप देख सकते हैं I've just done the stippling. इस पे like I just painted the hand का proper जो कटआउट मान लो एक तरह से एक उस पे खाली मैंने ब्लू शेड पेंट किया मैंने और जहाँ जहाँ पे आई हैड टू पुट द डिटेल्स सो वहाँ पे लाइक आई जस्ट डिड द स्टिपलिंग सो द रिजल्ट लाइक आप सामने से देखेंगे ना इट केम आउट लाइक ब्यूटीफुल और द लास्ट में यू कैन सी द प्लेन सो उस प्लेन पे जो भी क्लाइंट के ऑलरेडी डन जो प्रोजेक्ट्स थे उन सबका जो प्लान जो भी प्लान्स था वो आई जस्ट टेक्टेड ऑन द वॉल कि लाइक the whole concept की landscape plantation में they are the pioneer उदयपुर में like they were the first one who started doing this thing they have the knowledge of वास्तु वो डिपिक्ट करता है ये कंपास लग्जरी के लिए आई यूज द गोल्ड लीव्स फिर प्लांटेशन दिखाने के लिए यू कैन सी कि कॉलम्स के साथ में थोड़ा मैंने ऐसा गार्डनिंग का थोड़ा फील देख दिया है एंड ऑल द प्लांट्स लाइक ये सारा लाइक ये सब कुछ इन्होंने ऑलरेडी इतने पेजेस पे कर चुके हैं सो दिस वाज द होल कॉन्सेप्ट एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग गॉट मी एन अवार्ड आल्सो this thing got me Majhi Metro करके there's this competition for Mumbai Metro by Reliance Foundation last year in December I got ninth award. So yeah, this was this. Any like question related to it?
Anybody has questions related to this? Himanshi, Chetna, Aditya, Riya, Pranjali,
Can you
Chinmay.
go back again?
Uh, this one?
Yeah. So again, I want to like same वही layering वाला जो concept था कि first में I just did the line art and then shadows में मैंने थोड़ा खेला. So you can see कि जो ये images में you can see the both of this thing with white space. So that was also like one layer जिसमें थोड़ा I used water with the paints. फिर वो एक layer बना and then when it got dried up उसके बाद में I started putting more colors. So you can like switch to next slide. Next. So with all these gray tones. back. Yeah. So all these gray tones you can see. So उस image से like वो एक layer थी जो ऊपर छोटी वाली है, that was the like one layer, and again I did like more. So combinedly सारे layers से you can see कि how matured and how like you can see it, lots of work it's done over this final piece. So layering, always remember layering is very important. And again जो next मेरा जो project है which I'm going to tell you about, उसमें भी layering is very important. Can you go to the next slide? Okay. So this project, I had to paint 9 paintings for one of my client who is based in London. So luckily last year, like COVID ke time pe, I got this one project and I was like so happy about it. That client asked me, like gave me full freedom. Whatever you want to do, you can do. There are like 8 to 9 paintings. So I did like I am very fond of portraits and I wanted to show some kind of human emotions. Like, so that was my like initial brain का ऐसा brief था मेरा कि थोड़ा human emotions दिखाना है मेरे को. I have to play with the layers again, and I have to like charcoal is one of my favorite media. Then उस time पे I was into collages also, so I did the collages also. So you can see these are like few of the earliest sketches. So yeah, the old guy and this kid and this kid, another putting it. Next slide. Okay, so ये भी first एक sketch था. So it's a 9 painting series. We you can see ये जो final और जो third picture है, उसमें I can show you the different things which I have done. So first I sticked all the newspaper cuttings. उसके बाद में I put white color gesso, and everything is like very intuitive. I'm not thinking much to make any background. आज के time पे like whatever I'm doing it, I'm painting in layers. So initial layers are very intuitive. I'm just playing around. I'm just trying to see how well I can like build a background layer, a base layer. So you can see these 2 paintings. Next slide. Again, this was the biggest painting in that series, like 8 by 8 feet, around 10 by 10 feet, somewhere over there. So again, you can see the first layer I'm sticking all the newspapers. I made the first layer, and then second I used gas over it. I spilled some coffee, like coffee water over it to get a like stain effect, brown stain effect, and then I started using charcoal and scribble. So all the pieces in entire series I did by charcoal and scribble. Next slide. Yeah, you can see the details. You can see the scribbles, and you can see the coffee stains. And those red and blue, these were done by the acrylic paints. So that was like my entire concept, and I did all these paintings. Next slide. Yeah, these were the rest of the paintings. So human emotions I wanted to depict, like some kind of relations between two individuals. That was like my concept for the whole series. Okay, you can like go to the next slide. So this is what I'm currently working on. And so my idea behind the whole series, like before moving ahead, I just want to tell you that I'm in that position where I'm very comfortable with the knowledge that I have, like composition हो गया, layers हो गया, so all the academic जो knowledge रहता है और practice रहता है, so I've done it all. I really feel कि now it's time for me to come up with something like very signature style. So in that process, I'm painting these series. So I'm planning like around 30 to 40 paintings of this particular series, and then I'm going to solo exhibit. Plus, I'm also going to get into the merchandise like T-shirts and all. So I have one picture of that also. So you can see what I've done here. So as a Tanvi ma'am asked me, have I ever painted over a painting? So all of these paintings have something else. So in the first painting, you can see the red one. There's a few eyes in the red patch, right? So these are from the previous painting, from the old painting. Similarly, in the green one, you can see the painting, and the next you can see the orange patch. So what I've done here is already have one layer of the painting, right? Then what I did is I just randomly, very intuitively, I used acrylics of like whatever I wanted to. I did like I used and I left some part of the previous painting. So in first painting, you can see I left eyes. Second, there's another eyes. Then the third, this orange shade you can see. So that was like sunset view. So I did like I left that, and then after completing that, I used the gesso layer. Gesso is white acrylic call like it's a mixture like that. So we use that to make a proper texture or like base over any canvas. So I use that, and then in my composition, I chose like one particular color, one splash of color to show it. So for first painting, you can see this red. For second, it's like light sea green kind of. Then there's blue, and then next slide. Yeah. So the composition is something like this: that the color patch, and they are going to be like two parallel lines. So in the first painting, you can see I like 2 days back I painted this. The last portrait you can see it's behind my wall also. So the concept is to make a proper balanced composition by making two parallel lines and a color patch, and then painting a portrait over it. So you can see there's a guy face over here, and there's this girl face over here. Next slide. Yeah, so I took this picture 2 days, 2 nights back. So this is what I've been like working on these days, and these are what like 10 or 12 pieces, and now I'm going to take another like a month or 2 months to make another 20 around pieces. So I have like good number of pieces, and then I can like exhibit my work for a solo exhibition. So this is what I'm working right now. You can see the orange painting at the last. Just take a look at that painting. And can you switch to the next slide? Yeah, the last image you can see. So I'm planning something like this. I want to like use these paintings to have like on t-shirts, and like my sister, she's a fashion designer, so I'm working along with her to like get some good cool t-shirts, and I really hope that you people will love such kind of t-shirts. And yeah, this is what I'm working on. This is like my vision for this particular year. So yeah, this are my work, and thank you so much. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys learned something. I'm always there. I'm always available. If you want to text me, if you want to get in touch with me, you can send me DM on Insta. I'll, like, I, I'm not a good teacher. Okay? I'm not a good lecturer, but share मैं करूँगा. Definitely, like whatever I know, I'm going to share with you guys. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very enlightening. Aditya is sending us clap. So I would like to ask students, like we are already a little ahead of time, but does anybody wants to share experience or ask any questions? If anybody wants to ask sir anything or say something. Okay, so I think everybody is too impressed with the work, and I think they will come and check out your Instagram account, and they will have a lot of questions after a while. And we hope to do this session face to face and here in college really soon. Shruti ma'am, Dr. Shruti Nigurkar ma'am is here, so I would like to invite her for a while before we move to the end of today's Samvad session. Over to you, Shruti ma'am.
Yes, so thank you so much, Arpit sir, for this amazing session. It was a great journey we could see, and I'm sure that students are inspired by what they saw, especially because you are not academically trained as an artist, You are trained as an engineer, and I think that it's a great example for students to understand that, if you want to do something, education is not a barrier. In fact, whatever education you get, it can become your support, and it can become an addition to your desire, or fulfilling your desires. So, having said that, I am also impressed by your work, the volume especially, and the way you have done. I have over these years seen many national, international artists in India, and I wish that soon we'll be knowing you as one of the leading international artists. These
Thank
are
you,
my
thank you,
wishes for you, and with that, I will like to thank you once again. Thank you so much.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Shruti ma'am. And yes, we all want to see Arpit sir into the International Artist League really, really soon, because your work speaks volume, and there is so much of depth and so much of experimentation that goes in. As you said, the takeaway from today's session, which I can conclude by saying, is like, never stop on what you're doing. I think consistency is the only key to keep on going if you want to reach somewhere. You cannot just work 2 days and then you don't do anything and then you call yourself an artist or a designer. I don't think that how it works. You
Yeah,
need your base to be very, very strong, so that like, know the rules so that you can break them aesthetically. This is one thing I keep all of the faculty along with me keeps on telling the students, like, work on your basics, work on your base. uh, Being out of the box is not always creating something extraordinary. It can be something that comes from inside the box. So thank you for sharing all this artworks and creativity. And I think this was very nice interaction. Students, I think, are still processing. Ria is like nodding her head and she's like, yes, I will have questions, but maybe later. So this was very nice, and I am glad that you accepted our invitation and you came here today. So officially, I would like to give my vote of thanks on behalf of Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University, School of Visual Arts, from our dynamic head of school, Dr. Shruti Nigurkar, all my dear faculty members, and my most, important and loving students. So we show our gratitude to you, sir, and we wish that this happens in uh, physical form real soon. We meet at the university. You can come meet us at any time. We would be really glad. So thank you so much, sir, for coming today. And as we end all of our sessions with MIT tradition by playing Pasaidan, so we will be playing Pasaidan right now, and then we'll conclude today's session. Thank you so much, sir.
thank you.
Um, may I request technical team to please play the Pasaidan? And meanwhile, those who want to get in touch with sir, please, I've already sent his Instagram profile. If you want, I can send it again. Aditya Yadav says, thank you so much, sir. Your words were knowledgeable. So you can follow him on Instagram. You can go visit his website, and you can. He is in Pune only right now, so whoever wants to meet can, meet them personally as well. Okay.
आता विश्वात्मके देवे येने
I think there's some technical difficulty. We'll just wait for a second. Aditya, can you play the Prasadam, please? Can you share your screen if you have?
Yeah, ma'am. Let me just check if I have the Poseidon.
Okay. We are trying to figure out. I think there is internet fluctuation, so Aditya, do you have it? Okay. आहे okay.
कांडो दया सत्कर्मी रतिवाढो भूता परस्परे पडो मैत्र जीवांचे दुरिताते तिमिरतो विश्वस्वधर्म सूर्ये पाहो जो देवांशील तो तेलाहो प्राणी जात वर्षत सकळ मंगळी ईश्वर निष्ठांची मांदियाळी अनवरत भूमंडळी भेट तू भूता चला कल्पतरूंचे आरव चेतना चिंतामणीचे गाव बोलते जे अर्णव पियुषाचे चंद्रमे जे अलांछन मार्तंड जे तापहीन ते सर्वाही सदा सज्जन सोय रे हो तू किंबहुना सर्व सुखी पूर्ण होनिसिही लोकी भजिजो आदि पुरुषी अखंडित आणि ग्रंथोपजीविये विशेषी लोकीये दृष्टादृष्ट विजये हो आवे जी येथ म्हणे श्री विश्वेश्वराव हा होईल दान पसाव येणे वरे ज्ञान देवो सुखिया झाला
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Arpit sir, and all the students. And here we conclude today's Kala Samvad. So we will have the next Kala Samvad next Saturday. So I hope everybody will be present for that. So have a good evening and have a good weekend. Thank you so much, and goodbye.